Hi guys, Lunar here, welcome back to another Playerunknown's background video on Xbox One. Today we're going over the latest update and talking about any problems and discussing any issues and bugs that need addressed in the next update. Usually if there are any bugs from an update, and this update introduced several, we often see a bug fix late in the week, so look out for that. As always though, leave a like if you find the video useful, and let's jump into it. Yesterday we had tile update number 7, and with it has come a whole lot of controversy and problems. So let's start with the big change, nerfs to vehicles in game. The changes were increased damage to vehicle body and significant damage to wheels when targeted with gunfire, increased vehicle damage when successfully targeted with a grenade. Both driver and passengers will suffer increased injuries from crashing into objects or other vehicles, and that's probably the most controversial one, and slight reduction to player damage when being struck by a vehicle. It seems now that Bluehole have taken things a step too far when it comes to vehicles. Players reporting that a crash at full speed is almost guaranteed to blow your car up. Any little bump to cars makes it take damage. Playing as a squad is now far too dangerous to have all your team in one vehicle in case you crash and everyone is wiped out. Now if you're like me, you didn't have any issue with the current car meta, and I didn't want to see them nerfed. I've never been involved in the Final 10 with loads of vehicles since around December, and personally I don't want them to be nerfed because I don't use them for reaching the Final 10 and driving over other players, but rather to get to strategic locations. But it's now far more difficult to do that with the new car changes, and it's going to be likely I would use cars a lot less. I don't mind the damage to tires and grenade damage doing more, but the player damage when hit by a car, I mean they wanted realism in the game. If you get hit by a car in real life, it does a lot of damage. But again, now players are reporting that driving into a player full speed sometimes doesn't kill them, and I just don't think that's the way it should be. If they don't revert all the changes, I think most of us will be happy to return the vehicle damage when it hits something to return back to what it was previously. And based on feedback from you guys in the comments, it's conclusive that most of you agree Bluehole have made an unnecessary change. There were very few people who had issues with vehicles after the vehicle update at the start of January. So the question is, should Bluehole revert the changes they made to cars and change something else? There are other ways to deal with vehicles. You could limit the fuel, so if you want to be in a vehicle at the end game, you're going to need to collect gas cans along the way. Has anyone ever actually run out of fuel in a vehicle before in the current game? I personally never have. But what I would like to see is vehicles start with a random amount of fuel, maybe say between full and 25%, and make fuel consumption higher. Or only have a full gas can if the car is at one of the permanent spawn locations, and cars on the road should have less. But traveling, say half the map, will use most of the gas unless you find more. That I think will personally limit the number of players using vehicles all game and make the pointless gas can at least have a purpose. Yesterday's update wasn't all bad though. It did bring one useful change that might help the vehicle meta. The improvements to input lag. I don't know why, but it has made a huge improvement to aiming for me personally, and I've seen other players say the same. Aiming just feels more like a traditional console shooter game should, unless like you're playing on PC with a map controller, which is what it's been like until now, or much closer to it. So if players find it easier to shoot, they might think less about using vehicles for kills. But I definitely don't think that nerfing the vehicles to the point where they're unusable is the way to go, especially when PUBG is still in preview and it's not the final version of the game. They shouldn't just keep nerfing things to make it easier, they should be improving the game. Other issues were added to the game with the update as well. Vaulting for some seems to be broken, going over walls, in and out of windows, etc. are not working. I haven't had any issues with this, but it's common for a lot of players since yesterday, and that is a very big bug that needs addressed as it's getting people killed unnecessarily. Another bug, a strange banging noise like you're being shot at if you're inside of a boat. I've already seen that in game. I did take damage while inside of a boat, and I'm not sure if it's related or I was just being shot at the same time, but there's definitely an issue since the last update. Another big issue, killing multiple players and only getting one loot box. Some players you kill now are not dropping any loot, and that's going to be frustrating, being it's probably the best way to get new gear. I think those are probably the biggest issues from the latest update. Most people I've seen want to revert the changes to vehicles, and those bug fixes definitely need fixed this week. Other major issues with the game are rendering problems, especially on the original Xbox. It's not so much a problem on Xbox One X. In fact, I've never had a problem with rendering on the Xbox One X, but I guess it's very frustrating if you're on the original Xbox. Random crashes, lag, rubber banding, all are common complaints as well every update, but I wouldn't expect to see those fixed anytime soon. But I'm interested to know what you guys think on this new update, the current car meta especially. Should Bluehole change it back to what it was before? I thought it was well balanced before. Still want to see fuel play a bigger role than it currently does as well. There were some huge bugs. I would expect to see a bug fix update. That's the exact reason why updates are out on a Tuesday, so they can work on bug fixes if there's any in the update before the weekend. And vaulting being broken, players not dropping loot boxes are two very big issues and need to be addressed ASAP. So guys, that's it for this one. I might be back tomorrow. We get our 30,000 battle points tomorrow as it's the 1st of February. I'm not sure if there will be any info to go with it, but if there is, I will make a video for you guys. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to leave a like below, guys. The support's greatly appreciated on the channel, so that would be really awesome. Subscribe if you're new around for similar videos to this one, and I will catch you guys next time with a brand new video. Peace out.